At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join OPTAVIA, but please note they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may contain income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S., please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in Health, the OPTAVIA team.
So thank you so much. We're going to transition to the next transformation stories. So we'll just let people file in and join us for this session right now. We're going to welcome the OPTAVIA community, the new people coming in, and everybody that stayed. You are in for a treat. So our agenda this evening is we're going to go over the habits of health, the system, the program, all elements of it. And this is community time, but right now we're gonna have some amazing, inspiring stories of transformation. So let's jump right into this. I want to welcome everybody. My name is Dr. J.C. Doornick. I'm a certified health coach. Went on this program 14 years ago. That's me. Just quickly, if you want to read my story, you can go into the Habits of Health book with this handsome man on here. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. And it's on page 475. But I just want to give you a little visual. That is me in May of 2007. And that is me after I lost my weight. That was my weight loss picture. And then I embraced the habits of health. And I found a version of me that I did not know exist. That guy with the yellow pants was a mythical creature to me. And what I learned most, as we get ready to hear these amazing stories just from my own, what I learned most is that I never made a conscious decision to be overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy. And guess what? Side note, I was a health professional teaching people about health. This program completely transformed my life, one healthy habit at a time. It started off with weight loss, and then I embraced the Habits of Health transformation system, and everything in my life has changed. So we are excited to invite some amazing people to this event tonight. And we're going to kick it off first with the amazing Dr. Rebecca Lidstrom. So Dr. Rebecca, if you could come in and share your story, we would very, very much be grateful.
Hi, JC. Hi, everyone. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. You know, JC, as I hear you tell your story, it resonates so much with me. I too am a doctor of chiropractic. And, you know, I was asked to give some transformation pictures and I couldn't find many. And I started thinking about why I couldn't find them. And I think back and look at some of the pictures I did find. And that girl is sad. And I realized I didn't let people take pictures of me. With my kids, I wasn't in any of the pictures. And as soon as I would see them on my phone or people would send them to me, I would delete them. And I see that girl in those pictures and I think, gosh, she is sad. She was depressed. She didn't want to be in public. I didn't want to be seen at the grocery store. I had imposter syndrome. So as a doctor, I teach at ASU full-time in the kinesiology department. So all my students want to go on in the health profession. And I felt like a hypocrite because I was not living that life. And I was well up into the 200s and was feeling miserable, pretty much just miserable. And I kept seeing JC's posts and I was so reluctant and I didn't want to do it. And finally, after seeing so many of them, I reached out and I said, okay, I raised my hand. Like many of you probably have, I raised my hand and I said, okay, I'm ready to do this. I didn't have a lot of faith in it though. I had tried every stinking program out there and I didn't have faith. I thought, okay, I'll lose maybe 5 pounds. And then I don't know. I didn't think I'd be successful. What I didn't know is what I was signing up for, which is a program that covers all the bases, right? There's research behind all of it that really guarantees your success to a bit if you put in the work. And that's what I did. I put in the work and I ended up losing 55 plus pounds. And I still working to JC's yellow pants picture. I'm still working towards that bit. But the thing is, I was successful because I had the help. I had the community and I had the support. I was also kind of reluctant to post pictures of myself or post anything really publicly. And it took me some time. And then I finally did. And I realized I wanted people to have what I had. I wanted them to feel the things I was feeling. I was sleeping good. I had energy. I finally didn't feel like an imposter at work. I wanted to be seen at the grocery store. I wasn't hiding from people. And so I wanted to help people. And so I signed up for a coach or as a coach. And then I thought I would only help just friends and family. And that sort of has transpired to more. And I realized that OPTAVIA has blessed my life in general in so many ways. And now I know it's called, the trilogy of optimal health, and it's healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. But OPTAVIA has given me all of those things. And it's given me the ability to dream bigger and imagine my life as something bigger and know that I can accomplish anything if I put my mind to it. And I think if anything, that's what OPTAVIA has given me, is this ability to see bigger than myself and know that if I want to do something, I can do it. Weight loss was the easy part. Everything else now is like, let's take it on. So I want to say thank you, Dr. Anderson, for creating this program, because you have changed my life. And I know so many other people. And thank you, JC, for all of those countless posts and finally allowing me to reach out and becoming a client of yours. I just, my life has changed so much, and I can't wait to see where it ends up next. So thank you for letting me share.
I love that. And I so resonate with that imposter system and that sense of incongruency. Back to my story, when I was 80 pounds overweight practicing as a doctor, I felt incongruent. And I really did not feel like I was acting the part. And she also brought up something about the children. And, all I really ever wanted in life was to have children look at me and be proud of me. So I really, really can resonate with that. Thank you so much, Rebecca. So let's move to Colorado and let's hear from the amazing Zack and Ashley. What an amazing couple, just a young couple with the world just happening. The world is their oyster right now. And at just such a young age, they've just taken control of their health, and they're just beginning this transformation journey. So Zack and Ashley, are you there?
We are here. Well, thank you so much. This is quite an honor to be able to speak here. So first off, I would like to agree with everything Rebecca was saying. And the same thing for me down in that bottom left picture. Of course, somebody else snapped it because I would not dare take a picture of myself at that time. But that is exactly how I feel. I don't know how big your guys' screens are, but you can see my face, and I'm not a happy camper. I was basically athletic my entire childhood. You couldn't stop me from running around. I played all kinds of sports. I skateboarded, I ran track and field. And then this thing happened when I was 26 called the death job. And I kept all my old habits of, when you're playing sports, you can eat absolutely anything you want. Not the healthiest thing, but you can get away with it. And I went to working like 10 to 12-hour days, and I would go to fast food for lunch. I wouldn't eat for the entire day, and then I'd drive home and pick up, something terrible on the way home. And I don't know how long it took me, but sooner or later, I ended up tacking on 30 pounds. And it was getting to the point where, I had to hold my breath to tie my boots. I couldn't run up the stairs anymore. And this thing just started happening with all these unhealthy habits that I didn't even know I had. So of course, when that happened, I did the traditional thing, and I went to the gym 2 hours a day for a while. And, especially with working 10 to 12 hours a day, then I'd go to the gym, and then I wouldn't get to bed till midnight. So my sleep was now suffering. And don't get me wrong, I lost some weight, but it was painful. It's not something I want to do again. And the reason that it didn't work was, of course, the first thing I did once I lost the weight was we went to Olive Garden and we ate lots of breadsticks with lots of Alfredo sauce. And you can see where this story is going. I tacked on even more weight. So I originally started this journey here with 30 pounds to lose. I did it the wrong way. And then I ended up gaining 50 pounds. And so thankfully, we found OPTAVIA shortly after that. And, long story short, I've kept all my weight off, and it's obvious that it's all about the habits that you have. Even someone who is, as skinny as a stick can have really unhealthy habits. And that was basically me at that time. I didn't have any healthy habits. And this program has taught me, I can't even count the amount of things it's taught me. It's amazing. It's completely changed my life. I know it's kind of cliche to say, but this program has completely changed my life. And due to us starting coaching, I seriously believe it has saved my life. It's at least tacked on quite a few years. So I'm definitely happy about that. And then without further ado, I'm going to introduce this beautiful person here.
Thanks, Debbie. I'm Ashley, and my story is very different. I have struggled with weight my entire life. And I feel like a lot of you that are watching this call right now probably are like, oh yeah, that's me, check that box. And it's just frustrating because it's one of those things where, I've done every plan available. I've done all of them. I've done every little thing you could do. I've done every little thing of, what's the lowest amount of calories for the thing that tastes the best? Like, let's just eat chocolate cake and then eat carrots the rest of the day. Like, I've done all of that. And that's the problem. That's not health. Like, you'll lose weight, you'll feel terrible. And it's because you're running your life off of chocolate cake, if you know what I mean. And that's exactly how this changed for me. I was such a skeptic. I came into this program just like, I know I was originally on another plan, and like I had done a bunch of meal prepping initially, and I was previously like all gung-ho about what my current, health regimen looked like when this was initially presented. And I was like, yeah, okay, we'll do this OPTAVIA thing. That sounds cute, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I realized that a few days into actually consuming healthy food and actually reshifting everything about how I looked at food and everything, I was like, why do I feel so good? Like, what is this feeling? Like, what? I've never felt this before. Oh my God, it's health. What the heck is that? Like, literally, that's the biggest game changer on this program. And I mean, like I said, I've literally struggled with weight my entire life. I've been the girl that like never got to wear shorts. I've been the girl that like, oh, she's got a pretty face, but like all those kinds of things. And it's one of those things where you really have to recognize, hey, you'll lose weight. You can do all these little things to go up and down on the scale, but how do you feel at the end of the day? And are you actually getting nutrition? Are you actually adding years onto your life? And that's exactly what this program did. And I have never felt better. There are so many things that have shifted. And like Zach actually said, in literally every possible way, this program has transformed our life and changed my life and saved my life. And I say that wholeheartedly because getting to see what real nutrition looks like, getting to feel what a real community looks like, getting to live this whole journey out loud and meeting my community, getting to do it with my boyfriend and getting to really transform not only our health, but what has to happen in our future is absolutely magical. And that's exactly what this program does. And I can't phrase it any better than that. This is magical for my life. And I know it'll happen for you too if you're actively considering program or you're currently on your journey. It has absolutely transformed my life. And I am just so lucky that I even get to be here. Thank you so much.
Man, I wish I found OPTAVIA at their age. It's amazing. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Awesome share. So now let's hear from, we've got another doctor. We've got a big doctor night tonight. Let's hear from the amazing Dr. Kimberly Mosca. Dr. Kimberly, we would just love it and be honored if you could share your story.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me tonight, and such an honor to be here and actually have it be a night that Dr. Anderson shared. I just have to start with saying that I am very grateful that Dr. Anderson ate that chocolate chip and then had to throw them away, because that was me on Easter. And we all know Easter was only a couple days ago. So it wasn't one chocolate chip. It was definitely some peanut butter Reese's Puffs. But that is kind of, I guess, how I can start my story. So one of the things for me is, so I live in New York, from Oregon originally. I am a board certified behavior analyst. So this program speaks to me beyond words. All the stuff Dr. Anderson spoke about today and Dr. JC about fixing your environment so that you can be successful and not having things in view, all these things, that's everything that I have taught my clients, the families I work with all along, but I wasn't really living it for myself. So long story of, kind of like Ashley with, difficulties with health and weight. But I remember going on my first diet at 6 years old, and my mom did not put me on that diet. My dad did not put me on that diet. I remember I put myself on that diet. And I struggled a lot. And at 15 years of age, I became active in an eating disorder. And it was awful. I mean, it was really, really difficult. And but I didn't really think, I knew I had a problem, but it was back and forth. And then when I was 25, I ended up going to treatment. And, when I was 27 and I got pregnant with my daughter, I realized that I can't live like this anymore. But what I didn't realize is that my eating disorder kind of had transformed into different things. And I was still trying to fix the problem, but not healthfully. So when I did get pregnant, I had no idea how to fuel my body and how to eat. And I remember looking at my husband and looking at and talking to my mom and saying, I don't know how to eat for myself. I don't know how to eat. I don't know how to take care of my body. So I gained 70 pounds in, 9 months, and she was born and she was 6 pounds, 3 ounces. And I wanted to look at the doctor and say, can you take the rest of the 63 pounds, please? Or whatever the math is there. So, when that happened, I tried to help myself, and I continued to have, difficulties, but I would say that the eating disorder really transformed into binge eating disorder at that point in time, but back and forth. So, I would binge, I would restrict, I would go on a diet, but it was I just always felt terrible about myself. And everything really just went right back to that weight. It was like, how do you feel today? I feel fat. And I wouldn't say that to people because I was successful in my career. I had a family, I had kids, everything was great. And so, long story short, that was some years ago as my daughter was 12, but pandemic came and I live in New York and I was working in Manhattan, and I am a healthcare provider. And I was going into Manhattan every single day when the pandemic was at its worst here. And I was just ridden with anxiety. And I went right back to my old habits of eating chocolate and eating all day and working out like crazy. And I still gained my 10 pounds over that month. So with that being said, a friend called and said, oh, I have this program. And I'm like, listen, at this point, I don't care. I will eat dirt if I can lose weight. So I found the program. I got introduced to it, started eating the food. And I just realized I was feeling so much better. And then my coach, Katya, introduced me to the community and the self. And I remember I called her one day and I said, have you ever messed up? Because I was getting so down on myself that I wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect on program. And she goes, okay. She said, of course I've messed up. And I'm like, not even messed up. But, from that conversation that day, we discussed that the big issue is striving for progress and not perfection. And that is the biggest thing I want to leave with you guys today. My husband's on program. Many of my best friends who are watching tonight are all on program. My mother got on program. But what I say to all my clients is when you mess up, it's not even a mess up. It's a learning experience. Just pick yourself up and keep going. And that is what I've learned from this program. And it's brought hope to my family and to me. So just keep going and strive for progress and not perfection. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Wow. So much fun. Let's go over the program a little bit. Let's look at some statistics that we're kind of all familiar with, but let's just bring it to light. Because what we're talking about here is a solution to a problem that we're all aware of. So worldwide statistics, worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since '75. Most of the world's population live in countries where overweight and obesity kills more people than underweight. I don't know if you knew that. American statistics alone, that was worldwide. Almost a third of adults with partners, 31%, report that money. So look, it's time, trilogy of optimal health is healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. How many of you can relate that money and the stress of it, and the unknowns of it is impacting that. So 31% report that money is a major source of conflict in their relationship. 69% of workers were stressed over their finances. So this is all going on right now. This is something that all of us share. We all want to be happier, healthier, and wealthier, but we have a tendency of waking up and finding urgency around the one that matters most to us that day. In July of 2020, rates of depression and anxiety, and this is something that I think we just touched on a little bit, anxiety in the US were more than triple. So it's like, Houston, we have a problem. So the next time that somebody looks in the mirror and thinks that their problem is that they're eating too much or that they're overweight, well, it's not their fault, right? It's not their fault. There's a lot of things going on behind closed doors or unconsciously that we've built unhealthy habits around. So our solution is just amazing, and our story and our credibility is quite just unheard of right now. So we have just second to none. We have a company, our parent company, Medifast, which is located in Owensville, Maryland. Our program is based on science. And as you can see, in 2017, Forbes rated us America's most trustworthy companies. So our company's been around for a long, long time. Somewhere around 1.5 million people and lives impacted on this program. It's all science-based, doctor supervised, doctor approved, and there he is, Dr. A. Dr. Anderson is a co-founder of OPTAVIA, author of Dr. A's Habits of Health and the Lifebook System. This is a guy that spent his life, he was one of the first of 10 board certified critical care physicians. So he spent his life in the problem. So when he went upstream to create a solution for the problem, he knew he needed to find something that would address weight loss and health and nutrition, but he also knew that that wasn't the problem. He'll always tell you that the real problem upstream is emotional mismanagement. So he created a behavior modification and transformation system in the Habits of Health. So that's the credibility that is behind this amazing company. So what our company does is provides lifelong transformation, and we do it one healthy habit at a time. I was only ready for what I was ready for along the journey. So that's what it means, one healthy habit at a time. And I just want you to take a quick look at our logo up top, and for OPTAVIA, and you'll notice that there's 24 radiants, which represent the 24 hours a day that we have the opportunity to make healthier choices. OPTAVIA stands for the optimal way. And you also see inlaid in there the Nautilus, and that's because we start off from where we start off and we progressively evolve along the way. So our program has 4 components, and this is really awesome. You know, a lot of times that when we're looking for a program, we seek out a program that handles weight loss, but our program has 4 components. So we don't just have our amazing fuelings in our 5-in-1 program that's backed by all that science that takes calories and nutrition and just makes it goof-proof. There really is no thought behind it in creating not just weight loss, but optimal health. But it comes with a coach, somebody that acts as a guide to this amazing learning system. We can't just create physical change. We have to learn something and rewire our mainframe. We need behavior modification. And then also, to a certain extent, if you're watching this live, you're part of our OPTAVIA community. We have an optimal health community, and that's one of the other components. And that's a community when we take our clients and we put them on the program and they have the support of the coach and they're tapped in and integrated into the Lifebook and the Habits of Health transformation system and in this community, that's an environment where they can thrive. So these 4 components were created by Dr. A, not just, you know, it wasn't just like some nifty idea. Dr. A evaluated how many people tried to lose weight in this massive, massive diet industry. And he observed the people that were successful, and he noticed that they had, in some way, shape, or form, these 4 components. So this program that our clients are on, that you're coaching people on, is actually the solution for lifelong transformation. So we talked a little bit about the trilogy of optimal health, and you heard a lot of that in the stories. It's healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. In all of the stories, a lot of people come to OPTAVIA, like myself, when I was 80 pounds overweight, and my urgency was around losing weight. But what I uncovered is that there were a lot of things that I didn't know upstream. What I learned from my story is that my problem wasn't, like I said, it wasn't that I was overweight, and it wasn't even that I was eating unhealthy. It was why. I was working 90 hours a week. I was stressed out about money. Even though I made a lot of money, I didn't have any money as a health professional. My mindset was a mess. I was I was involved in a failed marriage. I never saw my kids. I was depressed. That was the problem. Without the Habits of Health system and without the trilogy of optimal health, I would never be here right now. So on a healthy body rests a healthy mind. I got healthy, physically healthy, which led to a healthy mind. I started to get excited and awakened, but then I realized the problem was my lifestyle. I was working 90 hours a week. So I made a conscious decision to become a health coach for many, many reasons, for the accountability. And I'll go over some of those things, but also I needed a career change because I was not going to be able to lose weight and sustain it and still work 90 hours a week and be stressed out. So some of the benefits we want to talk about becoming a health coach, because I'll be honest with you, I lost my weight 14 years ago. And one of the primary reasons that weight is off is because I became a health coach. And here are some of the reasons. It helps reinforce your decision to be healthy. Paying it forward to make a difference is fun and rewarding. Just think about that natural organic thing that we have as humans. When in a world full of thirsty people, if you find the source of water, you want to pay it forward. Paying it forward is amazing, and it reinforces your decision. And our compensation is just second to none. First of all, I help more people in a month than I did in 17 years as a doctor create health. I was never able to help people create health because I didn't go home with them. I didn't have a program that went home with them, right? So once I became a health coach, that was enjoyable for me and fulfilling, but also there's a compensation plan attached to this, which has the currency of goodwill. We talked a little bit about that, but also it fulfilled financial needs and goals. And I've gone on to become free from that. And also, I think parents will really resonate with this. I always wanted to leave a legacy. I always wanted my kids to look at me and say, that's my dad, and that's hard to do when you're never around. And when I meet my maker, and it's going to be a long, long time from now because of this program, I'm going to leave a legacy. So there's basically three progressive, places that we are as coaches. So in the beginning, as a coach, that paying it forward, you're helping people get healthy. You're coaching clients. But then you also have to realize that, the idea is not to just get busy doing something else. So what's really, really cool about coaching is that a lot of our clients, like me and like the people that shared tonight, decide that they want to pay it forward for all the same reasons. So then you can progress and become a business coach and duplicate yourself by teaching other coaches how to help more people. So there's more impact, more currency of goodwill, right? But without working more. So there's a leveraging component to this, which is really great. One of the things that I wanted to do was create financial freedom, make an impact, help lots of people, get the accountability myself, but also have time for my family. Right? So I've helped so many people get healthy, and I'm doing that from my home with my family. And now I've progressed and become what's called a business leader, where I'm actually helping develop people to become, just the forces of their life, just to help them rewrite their story from soup to nuts, right? Remember something, we all share something in common. We're all seekers of the herb. Right? We want to be happier, healthier, and wealthier, but we struggle at executing that. So here we have OPTAVIA, we have healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. They all work synergistically. I always tell people it's in their best interest to go through the program and become a coach and pay it forward. So how does it work for coaches? Well, it's a relational model. It's focused on optimal well-being, self-employed. We're all self-employed and independent. That's a really, really great thing, especially in this environment that we're in. You can choose to be full-time or part-time with it according to your needs. I was part-time in the beginning. It was kind of a side hustle that I did when I was practicing, but then I made a decision to go full-time with it and become free. So there's low startup, operating costs, no inventory. One of the things that I never wanted to do was have to buy something and sell it. I never wanted to stock anything. That's handled by the company, so there's no inventory, and that's amazing. Flexible hours. Imagine making your own hours. Imagine building your life around the things that matter most. Imagine not putting your family and all the things that you love the most secondary to your job. Well, that's what this is about. Flexible. So no quotas or monthly purchases, like I said, are required. And there's training and support. Unbelievable. Just like you have when you're a client, you not only have your coach, but you have the community, you have those 4 components. Once you become a health coach, there's online training, virtual training, but also you're partnered with a support team that has walked the path and has what it is that you want and is living the life that you want. And they're all there, not just teaching you things, but partnering with you and learning along the way. We call it field training. So OPTAVIA support for coaches, spoke a little bit about it. So we have a comprehensive training system, and we like to say, learn as you earn. We employ team coaching, right? So just imagine you're not paying for this, right? You're not paying for this team coaching, but while you're out there coaching, you have access to this whole team that's not only there to support you, but there to support the people that you're working with. So that's what team coaching is. And there's mentorship in that. This has been a personal growth and self-discovery experience that's never ending. I have no idea where I'll be a week from now, but I know it'll be ahead of where I'm at right now. So unbelievable. Work at your own pace. We always say we set the course, you set the pace. Nobody's ever pushing or pulling us along. And then there's optional local or regional or national trainings. And timestamp of this, we're coming to the latter part of the pandemic, and we're really excited to get together, because when we get together as a family, just imagine being together, even if it's virtual like we are now, just getting together with like-minded people that are all forward thinking, that are all looking to remove toxicity from their lives and only choose to engage in things and people that are in support of where we want to go. What a wonderful world this is going to be when we just really, really get hold of this thing. So, like I said, we create lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. It's been my honor and privilege to be with you tonight, and wish you all a wonderful night. Stay safe, and please get back to the person that sent you to this if you have any information, and find out what it is that OPTAVIA can do to help you. Love and appreciate you all. Have a wonderful night.
At OPTAVIA, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The prior audio contained the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the OPTAVIA community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope those stories inspire you to continue your journey with or to consider joining OPTAVIA. But please note that they have not been verified, and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the US or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with OPTAVIA. Additionally, this audio may have contained income or earning representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with OPTAVIA is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. OPTAVIA acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to OPTAVIA coaches in the US, Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the US, please see the OPTAVIA Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of US coaches under the US Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent OPTAVIA coaches operating in the US under the US Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.